All right. Welcome to Red Pill Rhino Live. This is going to be a very different stream tonight. As you can tell, we didn't do our normal intro. I don't think it's appropriate for this evening. Thank you all for tuning in. If you are watching on YouTube right now, I've been trying to plug and promote heading on over to Rumble and MGTOW.tv as soon as possible. The reason for that is that we are going to be covering and discussing material tonight that, quite frankly, will just get this channel deleted on YouTube instantly. I wish it weren't that way, and I'm a little bit disappointed. But as you know, if it doesn't fit within the confines of their vague and ever-changing rules and their narrative, it doesn't fly on YouTube. But what I'd like to do is start off by recognizing what happened Monday in Nashville, Tennessee. We did have, make sure all this is working on my end, stand by, sorry. Okay, we did have a shooting at the Covenant School, and unfortunately, a few lives were lost here. Let me add them to the screen here. That's first. Before we talk about anything else, let me see if I can get that on screen. There we go. We lost 6 individuals. Unfortunately, one isn't in the photo here. I think they finally did get a photo, but at the moment in this article, they did not. Evelyn Dykus, Mike Hill, Catherine Kuntz, Cynthia Peake, Haley Scruggs, and William Kinney. All 3 of the children were only 9 years old. And no matter how you want to talk about this, it's a tragedy. There are families, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, relatives in general, friends and family that are still struggling because of this. Just like any time this happens, it's not easy. What I want to do tonight is talk about this issue as best I can. And I know you guys usually come over to the show. We have a laugh. We have fun. But there's a time and place for that. And tonight is not appropriate for either of those. Also, instead of any kind of donations tonight, I ask that, and I think one of our guests tonight on the panel has found some of that information. I ask that you donate to the family members on their GoFundMe. If you're feeling so inclined to donate anywhere, please donate to those families as they're struggling and going through quite a bit right now. That being said, what we're experiencing in this country, and I've been struggling between anger, frustration, and a variable set of emotions to try to come to terms with how to talk about this. I wasn't going to even discuss this, but again, I feel this is an important issue. But I do feel this country is unraveling, and I am sad to see that children so often are put in a position and having their lives taken because of senseless violence over certain belief systems, in this case. What I will tell you is I've noticed a trend, as you can see from the thumbnail of this video. Several of the last incidents were individuals that identified as trans. And there's a lot of different things I could say. Again, we're on YouTube, so I'm going to have to cut to our break here pretty shortly so that I can actually discuss this with you fairly. We do have 2 guests on the panel tonight. I did keep it small in-house so that we can talk about this and get through this in an orderly fashion. But I do want to address that we have had a lot of different discussions and debates in this country over whether we have a gun issue, whether we have a mental health issue. And I will flat out tell you, in my opinion, there is no country There's an issue in which there's a lack of security in places that allow for sitting targets that cannot defend themselves. It needs to stop. I don't know how hard it would be to put doors back on, to put an armed country. I don't know if that's feasible, but what I will tell you is alternative is not acceptable. Okay? Crisis, everybody wants to point fingers. And Glenn Beck said it best, and at the end, I'm going to play speech because I think he could say it better than he did. Regardless, some people have their opinions. He's a talking head, of course. So am I, if you want to think about it that way. But he said better than I could. We do have a people problem in this country. We can say a mental health problem in this country, but we are making the youngest among indoctrinating and screwing those kids up. A lot of these people now are growing up not sure who they are, and a lot of them, but the bottom is the act of the person, which I can't certain words understand that, was absolutely despicable. There's no excuse for that behavior, but they were radicalized by an agenda. And I'm sure if that manifesto ever becomes public, we're going to see that. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't agenda. And there is more evidence this is going to continue. What I need you to understand before we go any further, and we are going to have to cut to Rumble and MGTOW.tv almost immediately. I that you understand is no matter how you're feeling right now, and your feelings are justified. Whenever there's a loss of life, especially innocent children, your feelings are anger, rage. But I need you to understand, acting on those feelings, they win. They want to paint as another statistic and use it to say that you are an extremist. When left does something, I'll prove this. I'll break this down tonight. Tau.tv. When somebody on the left violence, it's now okay, according to the mainstream media and most of the left's followers. We have a real in this country. But what I need you to understand, out and acting in a violent manner isn't going to solve this. That's all they do, and that's what they do. Because then it can justify their actions and behaviors. Who we're referring to specifically is a protected class. They would automatically label as committing a hate crime. Do not engage. Before we go to new tech, for viewing on YouTube, sorry we can't do this show over here. I'm giving you the opportunity to go over here or to. I know YouTube will not play fair. On that note, I do understand that this weekend there are some banners going around suggesting that I'll say the word YouTube trans vengeance, and seeing some pretty outrageous photos and images of what that means. We'll get into that on the other side. Again, I'm sorry, YouTube, but in the future, please consider joining us on Rumble now, where they're not censoring us. Appreciate it, guys. Let's and transition now. I'll see you in about 6 minutes on Rumble and MGTOW.tv. The links, our guys in the panel in the back will put up. I will see you on the thing.
We are the arbiters of this society.
Repeat after me. Public Works Citizen, we must maintain a neutral carbon footprint. Repeat after me. We must eat the bugs. Repeat. Repeat after me. We must eat the bugs. Repeat.
This is a world that we create and manage. The people, they need to be controlled. We will give them truths, but only our truths. They are not to seek information anywhere else.
It is my job to keep order. So what you saw didn't happen. Erase everything.
You a grunt? I used to be one, and I was good at it.
I know. Things were simpler then. I have some questions.
You need to understand, we're being hunted.
By who?
Bring him to me.
This breaks the world.
Your story isn't over yet. There's still a page left.